The biggest load you're carrying in your life is your personality, the strain of pretense. Keeping it up weighs you down and sucks the life out of you. You blame so many things for the feeling of heaviness and lack of life. You blame your work, your relationships, your diet, your problems. And yet it's your personality that has cut you off from your natural joy and vibrance. The personality makes you worried and emotional. It's the cause of your moods and self-doubt, your depressions and times of misery. It confuses your mind. It's fearful of the future and guilty or regretful of the past. It gets listless, bored and restless with the present. It's the unsuspected shadow that slides in between you and your partner. It's the cunning and knowing in the eyes. It lives off every kind of stimulus, good and bad, depression and excitement. And it's utterly terrified of being found out, discovered as the phony and spoiler it is. The personality is the face of dishonesty. Do you recognize any of these symptoms in yourself? Then you're ready to begin dismantling the personality. I say dismantle because the personality is a mantle. A mantle is a cloak, and you've thrown the mantle of the personality around you to shield you from the nastiness of the world and the hurtfulness of people. What you've done is you've made the personality your protector. You've handed over much of your authority. So the personality jumps to your defense immediately you feel hurt, threatened, or criticized. It hits out for you with piercing or bludgeoning words. Sometimes you wince at its violence and insensitivity. But then it's your champion, your defender. So you meekly go along with its appalling behavior and make excuses for it to yourself. The wily protector, given absolute power, becomes the absolute dictator, and you despair of ever being free. The truth is, you have no need of this protection. The personality is like a bully at school, whose gang you once joined to be on the safe side. After you've grown up, he comes back and convinces you still need him. He's able to do this because, without knowing it, you harbour all the pain of yesterday, the old fears and hurts of your childhood, your youth, and adult life. The bully, knowing your fear, won't leave you alone, and you're terrified to lose his protection. Notwithstanding this, the personality does have its place and role. It makes a rotten master, but it is a good servant. The servant must no longer be allowed to run your life. It's fouled it up long enough. Everything you perceive as wrong with the world is the result of someone's personality. In fact, the world itself was constructed by the ignorance of personality. That's why the world's such a cruel, exploitative and dishonest place compared with the beauty and integrity of the earth and nature. Just as the personality lives off you and drains your resources, so the world is exhausting the earth's resources. The world is the personality of the earth. So that's a brief outline of the personality. In the rest of this tape, we're going to fill in the whole picture. First, I'm going to show you your true nature, what you were born with, then your false nature, the ground of your personality. Second, you'll be seeing in a new light how the genius of nature functions without the need of personality, and how you can return to living in much the same way. Also, how you came to be separated from that natural genius. Third, I'll be showing you how the personality develops, where it actually comes from. You are going to understand what the personality is, so that you can gradually realize, quote, "It's not me," unquote. Fourth, I'm going to describe what is me, the real me behind the mask or mantle of the personality. Finally, I'm going to give you 10 exercises to practice in your daily life. All of this will be easy to follow because I'll be demonstrating it in your own experience as an ordinary man or woman. As you keep replaying the tape over the next 12 months or so and practice the exercises, you'll slowly separate from the domination of the personality. In all this, you'll be descending into your own subconscious where the truth of this matter lies. You'll discover a greater presence of authority in yourself. You'll be taking more responsibility for your life, straightening out your messy relationships for good, and putting right the situations your personality has left you with. You weren't born with your personality. You were born with nothing. And you can see that by looking at a new baby. A baby is a body of love. It has just come out of the mystery, the almost timeless place that is the womb. There's the beautiful little body, its lovable movements and sweet, fresh appearance. People love to smell babies. They pick them up and bury their noses in them, and the fragrance is certainly not only Mr. Johnson's talcum powder. There's a smell to a baby that's not of the five senses. It's the psychic smell of innocence. And that innocence is still in you. Nonetheless, there's something missing in a baby. For all its beauty and wonder, it can't cope with the world. Someone has to think for it and protect it. The baby is lacking in experience, the experience of living. We call the acquisition of experience growing up or getting older. That's what you've done. That original baby body of love is still your body, but something has happened to it. It has experienced living. I'm going to ask you a leading question. I'm not putting anything on you that's not the truth. This tape is about you, the being listening to it, who was once a baby and is now an adult. So I'm speaking in your experience. And what is true in your experience is the truth. The question is, are you innocent? Having gained the experience of all your years, can you say that you are still unburdened like a newborn babe? Can you say that what you were originally, this innocence, you are now? And if not, why not? There are two ways of answering this. You can answer from the inside or the outside. From the outside, looking in at your tensions, worries and problems, you could say, no, I'm burdened by many things I know and remember, my guilts, my doubts, my fears. I'm free sometimes, but I know that as soon as I'm reminded I'm not innocent, I start to be anxious and to worry. The other way of answering is from the inside. In your deepest and stillest moments, you could say, yes, I am innocent. And that's the truth. For inside you are always the sweet and innocent child you were, no matter how old you are in years. Sweetness and innocence is your nature. But sweetness and innocence, like a baby, have no place in this world without protection. They will be stamped on, manipulated, exploited, abused and ill-treated. How can I be sweet and innocent like a baby in a world like this? And the answer is, of course, you can't. Out here, you can't be what you are inside. That's how it seems, anyway. But nature, Mother Nature, provides the solution naturally. And the solution is experience. Living means gathering experience. You can't live without gaining experience, without learning the hard way, that if there's glass on the footpath, you'd better not tread on it with bare feet. In the same way, our beautiful inner nature is protected by the good sense of our experience. But we seem to have forgotten this. When it comes to our emotional lives, we ignore our hard-won experience. We repeatedly reach out and embrace what hurts and lacerates us. We put up with and stay with manipulative, emotional, and angry people. In other words, hurtful people. We succumb to the selfish demands of their personalities and our own. We allow other people's personalities to live off us as we live off them. In a mad and perverse trade-off, we agree to exploit each other and suffer in turn. Do you really want to live with an angry, emotionally demanding, or indifferent partner? Of course not. Your innocence can't relate to such destructive love, if you can call that love. But you no longer live from your innocence and pure experience, that love you were born with and the good sense you developed. Your personality has got in between. And now in your emotional life, your love life, you're not sure which is which is the good sense and which is the spoiler. Do you want to suffer? What a silly question. But how else do you explain it? The way you put up with the unnecessary pain inflicted on you by family and friends? How do you explain the way you expect loved ones and friends to put up with your unhappy moods? This odd way of living together you excuse by saying, "No one's perfect. We have to put up with each other's moods and unhappiness." But I'm asking, do you? Do you have to put up with the depressions, anger, and unhappiness of others? Where did you get that crazy notion? I'll tell you. It comes from your personality and the personalities of others. And it's an utter lie. You've been deceived and you don't know it. You don't realize. To the personality, misery, depression, and conflict are as satisfying and fulfilling as excitement, adventure, and new experiences. Personality gets a kick out of both, the up and the down. You don't. You naturally enjoy the stimulation of new and varied experience. But your true nature doesn't want to hurt anyone in the process. The personality, on the other hand, couldn't care less who's hurt or who suffers, you or anyone else. It just wants the experience, good or bad. You truly want the good for yourself and everyone. That's because in your deepest part, in your innocence, you are good. You are love. Living love. Love is your ground, your true nature. Out of that inner ground arises your intelligence, which looks out and sees the external world. You are like a lovely flower, your roots planted firmly in love, and your perception of life shining with beauty and the intention of good for all who can see, to see. That's the truth. That's what you are. Or that's what you were before your personality took over and made you unhappy. Now you swing between the two. One day you're loving, contented and sweet, the next day bored, depressed, anxious or moody, and those around you suffer. So love is your true nature, and the personality is your false nature.